Illustrator file. If you haven't made your file, create a new print document. The size of the screen is 8 inches by 10 inches. And you can see here it converts it to points. If you want to see it in inches, you can. But because we typed the 8IN, it will automatically, convert it to inches no matter what unit you are in. Then choose your orientation. Is it vertical or horizontal? That will depend on your graphic. And then when you're happy, say OK. It's going to create this blank document. I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to go to my desktop to grab the file I plan on recreating. This is my graphic I want on my silkscreen. And I just click to place it on the screen. If I need to resize it, that black cursor on the left-hand side lets me resize. If I don't hold Shift, it can get all stretched. So you always hold Shift when resizing to keep it skewed into the right proportions. If to undo a step, it's Command Z. And then again, Shift to resize. When you're happy with the placement, I'm going to go to the right-hand side where it says Layers, and I'm going to lock that layer. If I don't see my layers here, maybe they're not there, then you go up to the top to Window, scroll down to Layers. So you can access them either way. Something to note about your layers. It makes a layer when you add a file. I've locked it so I can't work on it. It won't let me do anything now because this file is locked. I'm going to call this one Original, and I did that by double clicking, and you can type. I'm going to go down to the bottom and make a new layer, and then call this Mine. Simple. Now to actually recreate this, on the left-hand side is my pen tool. I'm going to turn the inside out so it's easy to trace, and put a bright color that's counter to the black. And even though I might not want a thick outline, I'm just going to make a thick outline so it's easy to see. Now I'm ready to trace. So pen tool, no inside, bright outside, thick stroke. What happens now is I'm going to trace each piece. So maybe I'm just starting with a basic bob. What happens is if you click once, then move your cursor to where your curve ends. You'll notice my line's creating on the school computers. That won't happen. I'm on the Creative Cloud. But you move your cursor after clicking once to where the curve ends. So I'm going to say right here. I click and hold my left click down, and it gives me these handlebars. And I'm able to create that curved shape. I'm going to hit Alt and release the last dot I made, and then repeat. Click and hold down. Alt, and then repeat, and that will create my curved shape. Again, if you're not happy with how it's exactly looking, maybe in this case the stroke's just way too thick, so I can turn it down and it looks less messy. What's cool too is that I went to my black cursor to get off the pen tool. I can now select this line. I'm going to just zoom in. Maybe it's not perfect. Underneath the pencil, there's a smooth tool. If the line is selected, so black cursor to select, not selected, selected, I can grab my smooth tool and I can zigzag over the messy parts, and the computer self-fixes. So even if you're not like the neatest person, just if you take that time to fix at any time, easy to continue. So same deal, repeat. Grab my pen tool, click at the beginning of curve. I'm going to go the other way this time. Click at the end of the curve. If you're continuing the same curve, you don't have to Alt release. But if you're changing directions, you're going to want to click Alt. And I'll show you an example of what that means. So the other way I turned directions when I went down and then back up. So I grabbed my pen tool, and here it changed directions. I'm not continuing this curve so much. So if you see that it's not going in the same direction, it's gonna actually continue down. You can hit Alt to release, and then you're free to continue. It does, as you can see, it's a little more flexible with the Creative Cloud than it is the CS4. To click between the shape and not continue the line, you just control click, and you're able to start a new shape quite simply. And And then you're going to trace your way around the entire tool. So see how here I can't fix that curve right there? That's where my Alt Release lets me restart the shape at whatever shape I'd like. And then you're going to just create all your shapes. And then by the time you're done, you're going to want to fill in your color. It doesn't matter what color it is here in the creation. At the very end, I can hide the one I traced. And after I've gone through and I've smoothed all my shapes with my lovely smooth tool, again, take the time to do that. It does make the difference. And if you find it's being crazy wonky, like this one here at the bottom here, if you find it's not being the way you want it to look, you'll notice too that you can even further edit all these little dots by using the white cursor to further edit the shape of your line. Or if you want to move them, you can also remove them. Maybe there's too many. The pen tool has a subtract feature, and you can say that dot, not for me, and you can actually remove dots, okay? So you have a bunch of options to further edit. So don't worry if your design isn't the way you anticipate it to be or needs to be changed. Lots of things you can do to further edit your shape, okay? Once you have all your shapes, I'm just going to click and drag over all, and I'm going to make them black because that is the color my screen needs to be. So I turn the inside to black, turn the outside, and I have my graphic. And you'll just basically repeat that till you have the entire shape, but it's something that you've created. I hope that helps.